Well, the sound of it alone is frightening, and when you see the reality of it, your heart just breaks. A new flesh-eating drug heaping further misery on the drug addiction crisis in America.
Have you ever thought of the zombie apocalypse happening in your lifetime? Be cautious then, it's about to happen. A new flesh-eating drug that kills you from the inside out has found its way to the US markets. And here is what we know about the deadly drug that can get you cheap. Around 2 decades ago, Russian doctors noticed strange wounds on the bodies of some people with an addiction in the hospitals of Siberia and the Russian Far East. The wounds were patches of flesh that turned dark and scaly like a crocodile's. They quickly found the cause. The patients had started injecting an unusual drug, Krokodil. Desomorphine, often known as Krokodil, pronounced like a crocodile, is a very addictive injectable opioid. Part of the reason for the nickname is that many individuals experience green or black scaly skin as a side effect. Recently, 5 patients with symptoms resembling those recently reported by doctors in Arizona and Oklahoma were admitted to the hospital in the Joliet, Illinois suburb of Chicago. Dr. Abin Singla in 2013 stated he believed a patient he saw had a crocodile addiction. Singla works at St. Joseph Medical Center in Joliet as an internist and addiction expert. He said the patient lost a good section of her legs. Pretty shocking, right? Why do people want to ruin themselves for short-term pleasures? It's a zombie drug, which means it literally kills you from the inside out. Singla said, if you want a way to die, this is a way to die. A 2013 study found that crocodile causes soft tissue infections and major vascular damage, which are quickly followed by gangrene and necrosis. The drug doesn't entirely dissolve in the blood. According to Dr. Robert Geller, the clumps traveled to far-off locations in the body and began to harm tissue. Although Geller stated that doctors throughout the nation were aware of the medication, he expressed his hope that it doesn't show its ugly face in Georgia. According to a recent DEA information brief, 2 exhibits submitted to these labs in 2004 were identified as desomorphine, but none subsequently. The National Forensic Laboratory Information System is the DEA database that gathers scientifically confirmed data on drug products and cases. The extent of its usage in the United States remains unclear, Geller stated. A woman told CNN affiliate Coco TV in Oklahoma that her best friend from Duncan, Oklahoma passed away last year as a result of using Krokodil. The doctor said it ate him from the inside out. Shell Fancher said to CNN, "It wasn't until the next day they told us that it was Krokodil." However, Mark Woodward, a representative for the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, said Krokodil was ruled out in the Duncan case through an autopsy. "We watched the reports carefully to see if it was there." He said it was just a drug overdose and nothing in the system consistent with Krokodil. So how is this zombie drug made? In Russia and Ukraine, there have been many confirmed cases of crocodile abuse. Research shown in the International Journal of Drug Policy this year estimates that 100,000 persons in Russia and about 20,000 in Ukraine were injected with the drug in 2011. Experts believe that when heroin became less accessible, the substance initially expanded over Russia and Ukraine. Krokodil is less expensive than heroin and, like meth, is simple to make at home. The painkiller codeine is combined with readily available substances by those who make Krokodil. According to the study, they can use red phosphorus from matches, iodine. The study found that in Russia, the users are mostly young people with comparatively short drug histories. When users reach the later stages of their addiction and suffer from severe mutilations, rotting gums, bone infections, decaying jaw and facial bone structure, sores, forehead and skull ulcers, rotting ears, noses and lips, as well as liver and kidney issues, it is common for them to wait to seek medical attention. This may be inexpensive high compared to other drugs according to its reputation, but it is more likely to cause withdrawal symptoms and be a real problem for users. My advice is to would-be users, don't. This is a risky way to try and get high. The brief half-life of the drug indicates that a user's attention is shortened to the process of acquiring and preparing and administrating the drug, leaving little time for matters other than avoiding withdrawal and chasing the high. As per one medical study, hence its reputation for creating zombies. The substance is used to cause binges that last for many days. A user may exhibit erratic behavior, fatigue from lack of sleep, memory loss, and speech issues while going through a binge. The 5 individuals who were brought in who may have used Krokodil stated that they were purchasing heroin according to the Joliet Hospital. Many doctors believe this is just the beginning. Things will likely get worse before they get better. The addiction specialist Singla believes that if it remains on the market for a long enough period, there will be individuals who are desperate addicts who are unable to maintain their heroin habit but who can use this drug disregarding the consequences and obtain the same high for a third of the price. Do you think that banning certain drugs leads to the beginning of new dangerous drugs like Krokodil? It is no doubt that drug abuse has a significant negative impact on society and is undoubtedly a serious public health issue. However, prohibiting the drug trade leads to unfavorable social and financial imbalances. There is a huge black market premium, about 90% of the retail price, according to most estimates, attached to some medications since they are illegal. Furthermore, those who are prepared to traffic illegal products frequently don't feel too bad about breaking other rules. The most terrible, violent groups and individuals can control the market because of the ban. The banning of drugs always promotes violence and corruption. This is particularly true in drug source or drug transiting nations, as well as to a startling degree in the United States. The problems caused by the war on drugs are even more damaging to societies than those caused by drug use per se. For example, during the previous 6.5 years, armed confrontations between several drug gangs and the Mexican government have claimed the lives of around 60,000 individuals in Mexico. 20,000 more people are still missing. Even more fertile ground for this unrest has been discovered in the smaller, less powerful Central American nations. Large portions of Honduras and Guatemala are currently under the influence of drug cartels with roots in Mexico. And these groups are becoming a greater challenge to the legitimacy of regional governments. The research states that the global drug trade is a $350 billion industry annually. It is not feasible to stifle such a powerful economic force. All we can do is guess whether morally responsible companies or brutal criminals will control commerce. The American campaign against alcohol in the 1920s and early 1930s proved that the prohibitionist approach feeds and harbors hateful criminals. After alcohol was made illegal, gangsters like Al Capone and Dutch Schultz controlled the trade. Bootleggers bought off and corrupted police officers and elected officials across the nation. Just as there are currently gang fights between drug gangs in major American cities, there have been shootouts on the streets of Chicago, New York, and other places. Following the lifting of prohibition, people were able to purchase the alcohol they desired, and there was less bloodshed and corruption. These days, the industry is dominated by suppliers like Jack Daniel's Distillery, Coors Brewery, and Gallo Wines. It was the strict prohibitions on heroin that led to invention of cheaper or more disgusting alternatives to it. Ending the prohibition on drug is not a cure-all. Even in a society where alcohol is allowed, issues like drunk driving, alcoholism, and other societal problems persist. However, no sane individual would support going back to prohibition with all of its unpleasant effects. Do you know that US was the only country where the stupid alcohol ban existed? The drug ban is just an inside joke. We should learn from the past and not only make minor adjustments to our anti-drug strategies. We have to bite the bullet and accept that our second try at ban hasn't been any more successful than the first. That's a wrap for now. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Remember, by subscribing to our channel, you're joining a community of people interested in amazing content like this. See you in the next video.